welcome everyone. It looks like we have most of the team here. And this will be W.A.G.S episode 2 with Team Shannon. And Shannon, this is the assistant coach team. Shannon will have Cassidy, Yee, Chris, and Christine as a part of their presentation. That's Team Shannon. And I believe this topic is on communication, if I'm correct. That being said, with W.A.G.S episode 2, I'll turn it over to Shannon to lead the discussion. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, great. So welcome everybody. Thank you all for joining us today. We are the Life Skills Group, and today our topic will be on communication. This project is presented to you by Christine, Cassidy, myself, Shannon, Yee, and Christopher. Cassidy will not be able to make it today, but she sends her well wishes and hopes that everybody learns something new today. So before we begin, we would just like you guys to answer a few questions silently. The first question is, how would you describe good communication? So just think about that for a moment. Great. So now, how would you describe poor communication? What does that look like? Awesome. So a brief overview of the day. We're going to start with a nice introduction. We're going to lead right into our 5 levels of listening. We're going to touch on the nonviolent communication and talk about what that is. We have a fun activity in store for everybody, and we're going to finish up with a short Q&A. So when you look at these pictures, we see a bunch of different animals, and they're all communicating something different. On the left, we have a dog. He looks happy. He looks content. He looks like his needs are being met. In the next picture, we have 2 tigers that seem to be showing each other love and affection. Down below, on the contrary, we have a dog that looks very angry and upset. He looks like he's giving a final warning to whoever is in front of him. And then on the right, we have 2 cats that seem to be playing. The cat on the bottom, he's in a very submissive kind of state. He's on his back, his paws are up. And then we have an orange cat who seems to be very dominant, and he's winning this game. Similar to animals, we as human beings, we communicate both verbally and non-verbally. We all are familiar with this face on the left. If you have young children, or if you've ever been around young children, you can tell that this child is pouting. He does not look very happy. On the right, we have a group of children who seem to be welcoming people into their city or into their neighborhood, look very excited. And on the bottom, we have 2 people shaking hands. They're probably closing a business deal. Maybe they're introducing themselves to each other. And then, of course, we have emojis. These things are great because they can change the entire context of a single text message. So a simple "how are you" can be changed significantly with "how are you" kissy face, or "how are you" laughing face, "how are you" sad face. So we have a short video in store for you guys, and we hope you all enjoy it.
It is crucial that you listen, Dwight. Also, you want to respect their... Are you listening now?
Yes.
Okay, well, you have to show us.
That's impossible. Listening happens in the ear and in the brain. I mean, some organisms have external hairs that vibrate to indicate auditory stimulation, but unfortunately, our external hairs don't vibrate at all.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
What are you doing?
A little smile and a nod shows that I hear you. Got it?
Kind of.
Nellie, why don't you tell Dwight what we were doing earlier today, and Dwight, you show us that you're listening.
Well, we were in the warehouse where we were discussing the mural that I've commissioned Pam to paint there. We were talking about the colour schemes and the major themes we want to hit. children of the world coming together, cutting down trees to make paper, but not in a child laboury way.
It's just up and down. Just a regular knot, like a person.
I am a person.
Of
Yes.
course, you're a person. We can do this, all right? And then we thought I can't carry on with that face. Look at it, I'm going to get nightmares with that face. I mean, he looks like he is labouring over a stool, having just eaten human flesh.
It's a bit extreme.
No, I'm sorry, but that is true.
He's screwed. The meeting's in less than an hour.
So if you are familiar with The Office, that's just a funny segment on our next topic, which will be discussed by Yi.
Good morning, guys. So the purpose of the 5 levels of listening, learning how to listen is a very important step to becoming an effective leader. Leaders need to be able to connect or understand people and meet their needs, value the person, and step away from any personal bias. So for the 5 levels of listening, the first level, it starts with ignoring. Number 2 is pretending. Number 3 is selective. Number 4 is attentive. Number 5 is empathic. For the first level, ignoring is the most basic level of listening. You are talking, but the other person is not giving any attention to what you're saying. The person is just waiting for their turn to speak and has decided what they are going to say. Here's a little skit between me and Cassie, a little coaches players checkup.
Hey Cassidy, how you doing? Just checking in on you, seeing how everything's going.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I was just making sure everything was all right. Everything good with your academics and everything going on?
No, I got a few B's, so I'm thinking that's good. I got 2 C's, but I've been balling out on the court recently more than I've been hitting the books. So, I think that's good, right? Isn't it passing? In college, don't they see C's get degrees?
Yeah, I think it's something like that. But are you going to need any assistance, like with tutoring, or are you going to need any help?
Wait, hold on. I got this really important call. Hold on. Mom, what? No. Hold on, you. We got the fire going on in the microwave.
Okay.
Oh my God, Mom. I think you put a fire on the microwave because the tin foil, you do not put tin foil when you heat up steak. That's how you start a fire. Hold on. Did you still need me? This, a little important.
Well, you got to do what you got to do, so I'm going to let you get going.
Okay, I didn't mean to ignore you.
So as you can see, that was a little example of ignoring listening. Next is pretending listeners. Give you the impression that they hear what you say. They may hear some of your words, but they are not present, only hearing fragments. They may nod their head or offer another gesture to indicate they are listening, but they are not giving you their full attention. As you can see in this meme, it says, "Yes, keep talking so I can keep pretending to listen."
So selective listening is the next level. I live with a husband, 3 boys, and a dog who are pros at this one. Selective listening is we pay attention to the speaker as long as they are talking about things we like or agree with. If they move on to other things, we slip down to pretend listening or ignore them altogether. It's a basic level of listening. This type of listening can frequently result in increased miscommunication and misunderstanding as the parties potentially hear different parts of the exchange. So an example, in conversation with a player, if you're only listening to the part about what they say about their athletic stroke or moves that interest you, and you're not paying attention to the other part about how bad their day was at school today, there could be some problems. Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. And that was Stephen Covey who said that. And here is another skit between me and Cassidy to kind of demonstrate some of this.
Hi, Yee. So we're going to have our player evaluation at the end of the year after we finished our spring season for tennis. So I'm going to start with one question. What is something positive that you would take from this spring season that you thought you did well?
Well, my forehand is pretty effective out there, and I'm definitely running the court as fast as I can out there.
I would say I agree. I'd say you're moving well with your forehand. You have a lot more spin. You're being more consistent, keeping it in 3/4, not going through too much. And I also think you're moving through your ball. All right, I agree. I like that. All right. Now, what is something that you would say more something you want to work on and improve from this spring to take to the fall and then to the next spring? What is something you want to improve on?
Did you see my ace against Holy Names? I just smashed that ball in their face.
Yes, I would agree. Yes, I do remember your ace for sure. But what do you think is so great? You said your ace, but what would you think would go to take it to the next level of something you want to improve from the spring till now? Maybe it's your backhand or forehand, or more aspects to your forehand or your serve.
Well, my mom wants me to work on my math.
Yes, but what about math is important, yes, that's for the academic meetings, but what would you want to improve in tennis? If you want to get better, season's important.
Well, can I think about that?
Yeah, you can. I'll give you all the time in the world. Yeah, you can think about it.
I'll get back to you on that.
That's fine. Take all the time you need.
So attentive listening is the next step. And that occurs when we carefully listen to the other person, but while they are speaking, we are deciding whether we agree or disagree, determining whether they are right or wrong. Then, instead of paying close attention to the other person, we're formulating our response to what he or she is saying. We should most frequently seek to achieve in our day-to-day interactions, especially in the work environment, this attentive listening. So, example, sending the message to the student athlete, I am engaged and seeking to understand with eye contact and quiet voice. So some listening skills that go along with this. Attentive listening involves holding eye contact, maintaining good posture, nodding, mirroring the speaker's body language to show interest, and allowing the speaker to complete their entire thoughts. Reflection listening involves repeating and paraphrasing what the speaker has said to show that you truly understand what they are telling you. Empathic listening is next. This one requires the greatest amount of mental and emotional energy. It reaches beyond attentive listening because it requires us to focus on and seek the other person's frame of reference using our full listening faculties plus our heart and mind. So an example is repeating back to our players after listening to their day at school and telling them, I'm fully listening to you, what you are saying and feeling. So stage 1 would be receiving, stage 2 would be understanding, stage 3 would be remembering, stage 4 evaluating, and stage 5 is giving feedback about all those other stages. So to sum it up, there are 5 LOLs or 5 levels of listening. So number 1 is ignoring, just tune them out. Number 2 is pretend listening. So you're not really paying attention, only hearing what you want. Number 3 is selective listening, which is hearing what you want. Number 4, attentive listening, the first level that is really acceptable because you're listening to the words with an intent to understand. And number 5, empathic listening, which is getting inside the other person's frame of reference so you get them.
Great, so now we're gonna talk about nonviolent communication and what that is. So NVC was founded by American psychologist Marshall Rosenberg. He discovered that communication, in order for it to be effectively received and delivered, it must be rooted in empathy and compassion. And he just broke it down and said, all communication is a language of needs. So here is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. All this suggests is that we as human beings, we all have the same basic needs. So here at the bottom of the pyramid, you see physiological needs and safety needs. These are things such as food, water, shelter, health. Then as we climb up the pyramid, we have psychological needs. These are your social needs and self-esteem needs. Social needs are where you belong. So this is your tribe. Here at Stan, we call each other the warrior family. Next, we have self-esteem needs, and these, everybody likes to be congratulated, everyone likes to be praised, everybody likes to be seen. So this is where that lies. And as we climb up the pyramid and reach the highest point, it's a level of self-actualization. This is where purpose falls into place. So often we see people going into careers for money, but then they realize that they're not happy. Well, why is that? It's because they're not in purpose. So here are a list of words, of feelings, of needs that are not being met. So as I read through some of these words, try to picture where on this pyramid they would fit. So words like annoyed, when you feel uneasy or embarrassed, when you're feeling vulnerable, right? A word like vulnerable, what if you don't have the proper shelter? You're vulnerable to the environment. Feeling angry or disgusted, if someone is feeling detached or stressed. Someone might feel tired or scared, tense, sad. They might feel pain or abandoned. They might even feel afraid. So these, obviously, there are tons of more words to talk about, a feeling not being met or a need not being met, but this is just a few. And then on the contrary, here's just a list of words of feelings being met. And kind of do the same thing. As I read through the words, try to picture where on this pyramid they would fit. So words like affection, someone might feel excited. Someone might feel confident. Confident falls right into that self-esteem need. Someone might feel inspired or joyful. We always talk about how grateful we are. Someone might talk about feeling exhilarated or hopeful, calm, engaged, beautiful, exuberant, refreshed, feeling loved and energized. Now, similar to the other list, these are just a few examples of words of feelings being met. But the problem with society is that we as a whole are taught to suppress how we feel, because somehow if you express your needs, you're seen as needy. And for men, it's horrible, right? They're taught to suppress their feelings because if they do say how they truly feel, they're seen as weak or less of a man. But then it's no better for women. We've all seen that tired wife or that exhausted mother. But rather than saying that they're not feeling their best, they'll suppress how they feel for the sake of others, because somehow by them expressing that, hey, I'm not feeling my best, it's them being selfish. So the purpose of NVC is to identify your needs and the needs of others. It's seeing your needs as a gift that shows what's happening, what's alive in you. It's not about being nice or sugarcoating anything, but it's about being real. It's not about changing other people or manipulating them into doing what you want, but rather it's about creating connection and understanding. This is not a formula, but instead it's a process to guide us all into new awareness.
Thank you, Shannon. Good morning, everyone. To just reaffirm what Shannon started with NVC, I'm going to start with what is not nonviolent communication. Ineffective communication methods include accusation, judgment, yelling, and withholding. Violent communication is described as a toxic language that may induce anger, fear, shame, and other negative, non-productive feelings and actions. Nonviolent communication, what it is. Nonviolent communication concept, like Shannon originally said, nonviolent communication is the name given in concepts and practices that Marshall Rosenberg originated to help us think, speak, and hear others with a focus on needs. This in turn empowers us to relate to others and one another with compassion and ultimately create more peace in our lives and in our world. Here's 4 components of nonviolent communication. Here's the model. You have needs. Every human has universal needs. You also have objective thinking, your observation, solution, focus, and conversation. You have requests, current reality, resource, skills, constraints, practicalities, specifics, strategies, and solutions, and your feelings, being empathetic, and conversations. With all these, you need to have presence and have a connection with other people with that you're doing nonviolent communication with. Application at MVC. State the observation that are leading you to feel the need to say something, purely factual observations with no judgment. Direct observational facts provide a common ground for example, it's 2 a.m. and I hear your stereo playing. States the observed fact. While it's way too late to be making such awful racket, makes the evaluation. Number 2, state the feeling the observation is triggering in you, or guess what the other person is feeling and ask. Naming the emotion without moral judgment enables you to connect in a spirit of mutual respect and cooperation. I see your dog running around and barking, observation. I am scared, and that's your direct feeling. To continue, number 3, state the need that is the cause that is feeling, or guess the need that has caused the feeling in your other person, and ask. When other needs are met, we have happy, pleasant feelings. Not met, we have unpleasant feelings. By tuning into the feelings, you can often find the underlying need. I feel uncomfortable and nervous when your dog is off the leash and barking. Need to feel safe. Number 4, make a concrete request to meet the need and just identify and clearly specify for what you want right now, rather than hinting or stating only what you don't want. For the request to really be request and not a demand. Allow the other person to say no or propose an alternative. I'd like to ask you to please put your dog on a leash.
We're going to go into some communication scenarios and not really practice, but go through some things that could be done. We're going to put a few of you on the hot seat, but it's going to be really easy, so don't worry about that. Shannon is going to spin a wheel, and whoever she picks for each one of these scenarios will read the scenario and the answers and choose the correct answer. So it is multiple choice. It's pretty easy to pick the right answer. And here we go with the first victim.
Let's see if you guys were listening. Hung, you are our lucky winner. So, can you read the question and choose your answer?
Hey, your athlete comes to you and says he will not be at the big game versus Chico this Friday because there's a kicking rock concert he is going to instead. How should you communicate with this athlete? A, get angry and tell him he is off the team for good. B, ask why this concert is so important and calmly discuss his reasons. C, tell him you will skip the game and join him at the concert. As depends on who the concert is with. I would like to pick C, but the correct answer should be B.
Job well done. Great. Let's see. Who's our next winner? Alexis. Please read and answer the question.
Your athlete just came to you with a complaint that her rival on the team has been bragging about how much better she is. How would you respond to this athlete or your athlete? Tell the athlete not to worry about it. Use empathetic listening, or tell the athlete her rival is right. And the answer would be B.
Well done. You guys are experts at this. Okay. Scenario 3. Who's next? Aaron. Is Aaron on the call?
Yep, I'm here.
Perfect.
The official made a bad call and has been making bad calls all night. You would like to report this to the league. What would you say to the league representative? A, hey, my official was blind and I need a new one. B, apply NVC. Or C, you are bad at your job. The chat box popped up. I can't see. I want to win the next championship game. Who would I talk to next? The answer would be B.
Very well. Good job. Good job. Let's see who's next. Katie.
Okay, the college is not funding your program adequately. You are not able to participate in the events that would benefit your athletes. You are let down about years of being underfunded, so you decide to speak with your administration. What do you think you could say to make your point clearly and non-violently? A, yelling. B, accusing. C, state your needs, feelings, observations, and make your request. Let's go with C.
Yes. You guys are experts. And last one, who's gonna be our lucky winner? Okay. Kenny.
All right, your star athlete performed poorly, which is unusual after speaking with him. He said, it's no big deal, coach. It's just a game. I was up late with the boys last night. How do you respond? I'm going to read each one of those or tell you. Let's see.
Read each one for us.
Yell at him and kick him off the team. Tell him that's okay. You are right. It's just a game. Seeing that your performance was affected by lack of sleep, how about we come up with a sleep regimen to assist you moving forward? Do I have to choose between those?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I would go with C then.
Good job. You are correct. So here's a works cited page for each of you guys, just to go back if you ever want to expand your knowledge on these topics. We have a cool video at the bottom as well. And here's a quiz that Christine came up with that is awesome. And if you feel like taking it, here it is again for your reference. And thank you all for listening. Our project is concluded. So now we will go into questions and answers. I'm gonna stop sharing.
I have a question. Yeah, well done, team. I thought that had a lot of information. Very good to share, and it's always good to recap a topic like that. My question is, it's great to identify the different levels of listening, But if someone needed to improve their listening skills or wanted to learn to get better, what tools or what resources are available, or how would someone go about doing that?
I would suggest, honestly, the best thing to do is to be present. So be present in whatever conversation that you're having and just be fully engaged and give them your fullest attention, because that's the only way we can listen empathetically, is by putting down our guard and just seeing where they're coming from, seeing where the other person is, what position they're coming from. Especially now more than ever, given everything that's going on in the US, listening is, as we've seen from the presidential debate, it's something that we all need to work on and get better at. So maybe they should have taken this course.
I have another question. Your group is a life skills group. And so my question is, what made you choose listening as a topic? The life skills group is a pretty broad group. And while I think it's a great topic, what made you choose listening?
Well, communication is one of the things that can be applied to everything. From your personal life, we can all become better communicators with our significant others or with our family. And this can also apply, obviously, to what we do as coaches and everything. We're constantly having to reach our student athletes, and everybody comes from different backgrounds and experiences. So finding a common place, a common ground where we can relate and reach them, I think that communication is kind of just the basis of our human experience. So that was kind of just, yeah. And feel free, there's tons of books on nonviolent communication that you guys can take a look at. And I found it very helpful. And as we stated before in our presentation, it's not really a formula. It's just becoming more aware of yourself and your feelings and not being afraid to express how you really feel. Because so often we beat around the bush, trying not to offend people or trying not to step on toes. But instead, if we could just, it'll save you in the long run than trying to cover things up. Just be real. You don't have to be harsh, but be real.
Well, good job, team. Here's a round of applause. Good job. Well done. Well done. I think it's a very good topic, actually, and very important. And even if you had heard that information before, which I'm sure no one has heard all of that information before, it's always a great reminder. And I think it would be excellent for student athletes and for all of us. I believe all of us really experience all levels of that listening. Sometimes we're ignoring, sometimes we're active listening, sometimes we're empathetic. I mean, you kind of go through that range depending on the topic or your distractions, everything around you. So the awareness is a big part of that. So well done. Thank you very much. Well done, Shannon, on that. We'll go ahead and close out this second episode of our W.A.G.S presentation. Good job again, and well done, team. Thank you very much, all.